Hello, my name is Martin. Welcome to my language channel. Today we're going to talk about the present tenses of English verbs. Most of our daily conversation and writing are conducted in the indicative mood. We'll start with the different present tenses in the indicative mood. Present simple, present emphatic, present progressive, present perfect progressive. First, let's take a look at the present simple. This tense describes an action or state of being without specifying whether it is complete or ongoing. The present simple of regular verbs consists of the root form, infinitive without to, for all persons except the third person singular, he, she, or it, which is formed by adding an s to the base form. Examples: here is the conjugation of the regular verb to play in the present simple. I play, you play, he, she, it plays, we play, you play, they play. And here are some examples of the verb to play in the present simple used in sentences. We play basketball outdoors. Tom plays with his friends. Kids play outside during the summer. Some irregular verbs have a slightly different form for the third person singular in the present simple tense. Here are some of the most common examples. The verbs to do, to be, and to have are auxiliary verbs that are used to form other tenses. In this first table on the left, we have the irregular verbs to go, to do, to be, and to have, with the root verb in the middle column and the third person singular form in the column on the right. Goes and does are only slightly irregular in that they add an es to the base instead of just an s. Also, it is worth pointing out that the vowels in these words, oe, are pronounced slightly differently, goes and does. The verbs to have and to be have even more irregular forms in the third person singular. In fact, the entire present simple tense of the verb to be is irregular. The conjugation is shown on the right. I am, you are, he, she, it is, we are, you are, they are. Now we come to the present emphatic. This tense consists of the present tense of the auxiliary verb to do, followed by the base form or root of the verb. Because only the root of the verb is used, there is no difference between regular and irregular verbs in the emphatic tenses. In other words, all you have to worry about is the conjugation of the verb to do, and then just add the root of the verb you are using. In the table on the left, we have the 5 parts of the verb to do: infinitive to do, base form do, present participle doing, past simple did, past participle done. To the right is the conjugation of the regular verb to play in the present emphatic tense. I do play, you do play, he, she, it does play, we do play, you do play, they do play. Now let's look at some examples of the present emphatic in sentences. Contrary to my fears, ziplining does appear to be safe. The kids do hold on as instructed. Frank does want to arrive at the other end. The weather does cooperate during the day. In each of these sentences, the emphatic tense is used to place emphasis. Now we will see how the auxiliary verb to do is used to ask questions or to make a negative statement. First, we'll look at how the emphatic tenses are used for questions. In English, the verb goes before the subject to ask a question. Statement: this is the cathedral in Florence. Question: is this the cathedral in Florence? Statement: I was in Florence 10 years ago. Question: was I in Florence 10 years ago? But to be is the only verb that allows a simple tense verb to be placed before the subject to ask a question. All other verbs require the verb to do or another auxiliary verb. When the emphatic tenses are used to pose questions, emphasis is not necessarily implied. Use of an emphatic tense to formulate a question does not necessarily infer emphasis. Emphasis must be expressed by accentuating the word do or does when speaking, or by using underlining, bold type, or italics when writing. Let's compare some statements in the present simple with questions using the present emphatic. Statements: the girl learns a new song every week. Question: does the girl learn a new song every week? Statement: she holds the microphone when she sings. Question: does she hold the microphone when she sings? Statement: she closes her eyes when she sings. Question: does she close her eyes when she sings? Emphatic tenses for negative statements. Another characteristic of modern English is that except for the verb to be and other auxiliary verbs such as could, might, should, would, one cannot negate a statement simply by adding the word not. In other words, one cannot say, we went not to the store, or he finished his homework not. Instead, the emphatic verb form is used in the same way as for questions. Let's compare the following examples of positive and negative statements in the present tense. Positive statement: the girl learns a new song every week. Negative statement: the girl does not learn a new song every week. Positive statement: she holds the microphone when she sings. Negative statement: she does not hold the microphone when she sings. Positive statement: the girl closes her eyes when she sings. Negative statement: the girl does not close her eyes when she sings. Now I want to talk about contractions with the word not. Forms of the verb to do and other auxiliary verbs together with the word not also appear in contracted form. Here are some of the most common contractions. Do plus not, don't. Does plus not, doesn't. Did plus not, didn't. Will plus not, won't. Can plus not, cannot, can't. Would plus not, wouldn't. Are plus not, aren't. Is plus not, isn't. Here in the illustration, there is a don't walk sign. The apostrophe is omitted for practical reasons. Contractions are very common in speech, even in more formal settings. Let's take another look at the negative statements above, this time using contractions. First, we'll read the negative statement without a contraction and then with a contraction. The girl does not learn a new song every week. The girl doesn't learn a new song every week. She does not hold the microphone when she sings. She doesn't hold the microphone when she sings. The girl does not close her eyes when she sings. The girl doesn't close her eyes when she sings. It isn't just the word not that is contracted with auxiliary verbs. Some common verb forms are also contracted when combined with personal pronouns. Here are some of the most frequent contractions with examples. Am becomes apostrophe M. Example, I'm reading the letter. Is becomes apostrophe S. Example, it's very interesting. Are becomes apostrophe RE. Example, they're waiting for me to finish. Will becomes apostrophe LL. Example, we'll read it next. Would becomes apostrophe D. Example, I'd like to see the letter again. Have becomes apostrophe VE. Example, you've already read it. I would have if I could have. Has becomes apostrophe S. Example, he's been waiting for a while. Contractions save time when one is talking, but they can also be confusing. For example, does he's gone mean he is gone or he has gone? It could mean either one, depending on the context. Some people write could of instead of could have. Why? Because both phrases are pronounced exactly the same. And then there is the totally colloquial expression coulda, woulda, shoulda, which even contracts the verb have more to an sound. Now we're going to talk about the present progressive tense. Progressive tenses provide a wonderful ability to add nuance to a sentence. They describe actions that are continuous or ongoing. They are formed by combining the verb to be with the present participle. There is no difference between regular and irregular verbs in the progressive tenses. Let's compare these two statements. Mark reads the Sunday newspaper for the sports articles. This is the present simple tense. He is reading the paper now. This is the present progressive tense. Here is the conjugation of the verb to read in the present progressive. I am reading, you are reading, he, she, it is reading, we are reading, you are reading, they are reading. The next tense we are going to talk about is the present perfect. This tense describes an action that has occurred in the past and is complete or has consequences in the present. It is formed by combining the present simple form of the verb to have with the past participle. Here are some examples of the present perfect. I have been to Macy's before. I have finished all my Christmas shopping. Jordan has shopped at Macy's many times. And for our students, here is the conjugation of the verb to shop in the present perfect. I have shopped, you have shopped, he, she, it has shopped, we have shopped, you have shopped, they have shopped. Now to the present perfect progressive. This tense describes an action that was ongoing in the past and has continued into the present. It is formed by combining the present perfect form of the verb to be with the present participle. Here are some examples of the present perfect progressive. Paul has been cooking since early this afternoon. Terry has been waiting since she arrived. The potatoes have been boiling long enough. And the conjugation of the verb to cook in the present perfect progressive. I have been cooking, you have been cooking, he, she, it has been cooking, we have been cooking, you have been cooking, they have been cooking. Now let's review what we have learned about present tense verbs. The present tenses in the indicative mood are: the present simple tense shows an action or state of being without specifying whether it is complete or ongoing. The present emphatic tense is used to show emphasis, to ask a question, and to make a negative statement. The present progressive tense describes actions that are continuous or ongoing. The present perfect tense describes an action that has occurred in the past and is complete or has consequences in the present. The present perfect progressive tense describes an action that was ongoing in the past and has continued into the present. So that wraps it up for today's video on the present tenses of English verbs. If you have found this information helpful, be sure to like this video and click on the subscribe button for more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching.